Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 1991 here with the 4th episode for Writer's Block, the show where I talk about a particular set of issues on a comic book series done by a particular creator. This episode, since it's the 4th one, why not talk about Fantastic Four by Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyways, I chose this run because, like John Byrne's run, a lot of good Fantastic Four stories came from here, and I thought, why not put them on this show as well? So let's get started with the bullet points, which is where I talk about the highlights of the run. Now, the run opens up in probably one of my favorite single stories in comics of all time, which is basically the FF get a new publicist that follows them around for a week to get a better understanding about how to market the team to the public. And at first the marketing company is just like, they are superheroes. We just got to make them look more like superheroes. But the publicist that works with the FF is just like, they're not really superheroes. They're adventurers, scientists. And the issue ends with Reed giving his daughter Valeria a bedtime story where he talks to her about how originally, he basically talks about a bedtime story version of the team's origin. And in this version, Reed tells her the truth that he blames himself for rushing the launch, changing them, and that the reason he came up with the code names, the Human Torch, Thing, Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, was so that people would not think of them as freaks and that they would embrace them as heroes. Next up, Franklin Richards, Sue and Reed's son, accidentally releases a living being of computer data known as Modulus from Reed's transdimensional PDA. Also, Dr. Doom returns to menace the FF, but this time he does a completely different method. He does not use any scientific or technology-based weapons and instead embraces sorcery and basically hits the FF with magic. One aspect that Doom has mastered, but Reed Richards has not. And using Valeria as his familiar to attack the FF, and he also sends Franklin Richards to hell. I'm not even joking. He sends the kid to hell. And also he pretty much traps Sue, Johnny, and Ben in various traps. Reed, on the other hand, he traps in a room filled with books about sorcery, and the only way Reed can get out is through magic, which is something Reed does not fully believe in. However, Reed finally does start to embrace magic, so to speak. He embraces the idea that this is something, that the real reason he doesn't really believe in magic is because it's something that he doesn't fully understand. And that's something he has to admit, that's difficult for him to admit because he is basically the smartest guy in the Marvel Universe. Or one of the smartest guys in the Marvel Universe. We debate that in the comments. So basically, Reed starts to embrace magic, and he's able to trick Doom into rejecting. And he's basically able to trick Doom by using Doom's ultimate flaw, his arrogance, into saying that basically telling Doom, you're not really defeating us on your own. You're using help from demons that you're getting your power from. So Doom rejects the demons, and that leads to basically to losing all of his new sorcerer abilities. Also, Franklin is saved from hell, and Doom is trapped. And Doom is basically sent to hell in his place. But before Doom leaves, he's able to scar half of Reed's face as payback. Next up, with Doom trapped in hell, the team goes to Latveria to rid all the Doom's castle of all of his tech in case any supervillain gets the idea, oh, I can just go steal some weapons from Dr. Doom. So they go and they take the tech. However, Reed decides that we need to stay in Latveria because right now it's total anarchy in Latveria. We need to maintain order by taking over. However, the UN does not agree with Reed's actions, and when they ask Reed to basically, you know what, we understand your intentions are good, stand down. Reed just is like, no way, man, I'm not letting go. And this worries the entire team. However, it turns out Reed has been acting this way because he's been trying to push away all of his family because he knows that there is no way Doom will stay in hell forever. So he gets Doom out of hell and traps him in a Mobius dimension prison that he made where Reed would be his jailer for all of eternity. However, when the team finds out, they go and try to save Reed and break the prison. However, Doom starts possessing each member of the Fantastic Four. He possesses Sue, then Johnny, then finally Ben Grimm. However, Ben is able to maintain some control and urges and begs Reed to basically kill him in order to get Doom away make sure Doom is gone forever. And Reed, unfortunately, listens to it, fulfills his friend's wishes. The series picks up 6 weeks later, where Reed has basically created an improved version of Doom's Afterlife chair, the device that basically exploded and caused Doom's facial scars, which Doom originally built so that he can try to contact his mother's spirit, which was being held in a hell dimension. So now Reed wants to do the same thing, but this time find out where Ben is. This time, though, he does it with Sue and Johnny, and they are able to go to heaven and find Ben Grimm. And not only are they able to find Ben, but they have a conversation with God, who agrees to bring Ben back as the Thing. After Ben's resurrection, the wizard brings together another set of the Frightful Four, and we're also introduced to the wizard's daughter, Cole Whitman. Eventually, though, after the new Frightful Four are dealt with, the Earth is visited by a colony of aliens that want to kill Sue because they've developed an invisible force field network that could keep their planet safe from Galactus. However, the only thing that could disrupt that force field is Sue's storm. So Sue surrenders herself, but Reed arrives and hits Sue with a gun that he invented that he claims would take away her powers. However, once the aliens leave, Reed reveals the truth that the gun didn't take away Sue's powers. It just basically caused Sue to switch powers with Johnny. And unfortunately, though, Galactus finds out, and fortunately Galactus hears all this, kills the aliens that just visited, and turns Johnny into his new herald. Ultimately, though, the Fantastic Four do team up with Quasar to find Johnny, and with Johnny's cosmic powers, they are able to turn Galactus back into his original form, known as Gallon. But it's only temporary, and it does allow Gallon to basically let Johnny go, and they do figure out a way to get Sue and Johnny their original powers back, and that's basically what happens. Okay, what did I like about this run? Well, I liked how Mark Waid wrote Reed Richards. I liked how he showed Reed's arrogance and willingness to always sacrifice himself for the good of his family and the world. and also how Reed always tries to fix his mistake. How far Reed is willing to go to fix his mistakes. Obviously, in the first issue, where he tells Valeria the truth that he felt bad about turning his friends into something else due to his impatience at getting the rocket to explore the cosmic rays and thus giving them all their powers, how he felt guilty about it, and also when how he feels like, everything Doom's done, it's kind of his fault that he could have helped Victor. He should have helped Victor originally. Maybe Victor wouldn't have turned into a supervillain, and that everything Doom's done has pretty much been some sort of byproduct of him not helping. Or, when he warned Doom that the chair wouldn't work, but it's still something that he could have helped. And Reed feels guilty about that, so that's what led to him basically becoming Doom's jailer for all eternity. Also, I like how Mark Waid sort of made Ben Grimm the Rock of the Fantastic Four. Now, what I mean by that, yeah, I get it, he's rocky skin, but not because of that, but like the emotional Rock. Obviously, when Franklin got back to Earth, he is clearly messed up. Like that, I mean, come on, the kid was in hell. Of course he's messed up. At first, Franklin's just, withdrawn, is shown to be like very withdrawn, like not willing to leave the Baxter building. But when Sue and Ben take him out into the public, he starts like freaking out, and it turns out that Franklin still believes he's in hell. Ben basically tells Franklin that life will deal you a bad hand sometimes, but that can't stop you from living the life the way you want to. And, saying those words to Franklin kind of snap him out of it, and he starts to realize that, he's not in hell. He is back on Earth with his family who love him. And also, Dr. Doom, again, I love the way Mark Waid wrote Dr. Doom. He made Doom seriously dark. I mean, first of all, in order to get his magical new powers, Doom had to track down the one person he loved and kill her in order to get the power. I mean, it was like the one person in his life he ever truly loved, and he killed her just for power. That is the kind of man Dr. Doom is. Despite the seriousness of the big moments of the run that I mentioned, there are a lot of fun one-off single issues that I didn't mention that are also really fun, entertaining, and just remind you how much, despite all the darkness, there can be some light in the Fantastic Four stories. Such as when Spider-Man helps Johnny out when the Fantastic Four's popularity is at its low point due to Reed's actions in Latveria. Now you're probably asking yourself, how can I get this run? Well, good news. This run is available in 4 trade paperbacks, which you can easily find at any online store. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, eBay, all of those places. Now finding them in-store might be a little hard, but the best place to check is probably your local comic shops. And if you don't want to get the physical forms, don't worry. They're all these issues are available digitally. However, half the run was part of a different volume, so the numbering is a little off. I will include that in the description below so you can easily find those on Comixology, the ultimate digital comic book reading service. And that's it for episode 4 of Writer's Block. Thank you again for watching. I really hope everyone is enjoying this series. I had a lot of fun making it. Let me know if there are any future runs I should check out. I already have this season, the first season filmed, ready to upload. Next week I will be doing a run about Daredevil. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see when that episode comes out next week. Thank you again for watching. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.